Jefferson County Code Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session and calls number 23 CC 0327. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Catherine Messman. Ms. Messman, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Messman, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Messman, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Ms. Messman, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Messman?
Fabulous. Yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Messman, you're represented by your attorney, Mr. Wright Kimler. Mr. Kimler, do you waive a record in Ms. Messman's case?
So wait.
Ms. Messman, I have before me. Let me ask you, okay, I have before me a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, Ms. Messman, it alleges that you, Catherine Messman, on or about October 21st of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas. Ms. Messman, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to discharge Ms. Messman, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
No, you're pleading guilty because you are guilty. You're supposed to check the Class A box, not that other box. It's a Class A misdemeanor.
Yeah. Okay. Both of them.
No, just one. What's this the range of punishments for all? It's the standard Class A misdemeanor.
Yeah, but the 1.5 is on that. See, the one.
I see where they got it, but it's
That's
yeah, but it's wrong. It shows
Okay.
it's done here. Okay, now, Ms. Messman, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. On page 2 of this document, there's a set of initials KM on the line next to a box that says check guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are two boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document on paper that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Messman, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Kimler, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Kimler went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Messman, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1 in evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted into evidence. Mr. Kimler, you have advised and counseled Ms. Messman. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None that I'm aware of.
Ms. Messman, your attorney, Mr. Kimler, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Messman, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of guilty, the state's offering 180 days probated over 1 year, 50 hours community service, interlock, DWI standard conditions, and $1,000 restitution to be paid to Hilda Corral.
There's no fine.
Jenna. There's a DPS. What's the court cost?
77.
Let me see, calculator.
Man. Oh, just gonna-
Right.
Okay. Ms. Messman, state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a DPS fine of $100. You will not be required to pay a standard fine. You'll be required to pay court costs of $377. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, or your analysis fee of $15 each month, a reimbursement fee of $15. You will also be required to pay the Jefferson County initial evaluation and DWI fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation is, I forgot to add this in. Hold on a minute. Did you calculate again? Actually, it should be. 2,000.
Lost your-
Well, not in the con-
Okay,
the nature.
now, Miss Messman, I'll go over this again with you. You're required to serve 180 days in Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in it. The state is offering 180 days. You will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail in this case because you'll be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay restitution of $1,000 to, is that Hilda Corral?
Ms. Hilda.
To Hilda Corral. And you'll also be required to pay a DPS fine of $100. You will not be required to pay a standard fine. You'll be required to pay court costs of $377. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education the initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total month installments, that is a total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $217 a month. Will you be able to pay the $217 each month?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 50 hours of community service. You're required to have an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You're required to attend and complete a DWI education class. You will have a alcohol assessment, and you will also adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. Ms. Messmer, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
Do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Messmer, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Messmer, you're gonna stand next to the bailiff, follow her directions. Once you finish following her directions, you're free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Kimler, I think this is your last case. You're free to go and you have a blessed day. Jefferson County Court, Law number 2 is in session. The court is in session and calls number M 333-933. Case is filed in the state of Texas versus Weston Lee Walker. Mr. Walker, would you please come forward? Mr. Walker, your full name is Weston Lee Walker.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Walker, do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
There.
Mr. Walker, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Walker?
I'm doing well.
That's good. Now, Mr. Walker, you represented in your case by your attorney, Marcus Wilkerson. Attorney Wilkerson, how are you doing?
I'm on the right side of the ground, Judge.
That's a good thing. Now, Mr. Wilkerson, do you waive a record in Mr. Walker's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Walker, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Weston Lee Walker, on or about September 17th, while you were in Jefferson County, on or about September 17th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, operating a motor vehicle in a public place, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Mr. Walker, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Walker, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, there is a set of initials. There are a set of initials on the line next to a box that's checked nola contingere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box says checked, states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have a document before me on paper that's titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Mr. Walker, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that he went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes,
to
sir.
the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, Your Honor.
State offer states one.
Any
No
objections?
objection, Your Honor.
No objection. States exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Wilkerson, you've advised and counseled Mr. Walker. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
Not him, Judge.
And Mr. Walker, your attorney, Mr. Wilkerson, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't get to that. And what is that agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea of no contest, the state's offering 15 months deferred, $500 fine, 50 hours community service, interlock, and DWI standard conditions.
I was-
Ms. Wilkerson, were you appointed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, what's the court cost?
390.
Monday.
Okay. Mr. Walker, the state is offering that you serve 15 months deferred adjudicated probation. During the 15-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay attorney fees of $250. You'll be required to pay a DPS fine of $100. You'll also be required to pay a standard fine of $500. You'll be required to pay court costs of $392. You'll be required to pay probation fee of $60 a month, a urinalysis fee of $15 a month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you'll be required to pay each month, is $170 a month. Will you be able to pay the $170 each month?
Yes.
You will also be required to perform 50 hours of community service. You're required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class. You'll be required to have an alcohol assessment, and you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. Walker, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Mr. Walker, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Walker, if you successfully complete this probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not result in a conviction in your record, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in these matters. Are we ready for him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Walker, please stand in front of our court coordinator, follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the bailiff's directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Wilkerson, you're free to go. And you have a blessed day. I think you had one person, that case is gonna be dismissed.
Okay.
Is that correct?
I,
That's my
Yes,
understanding.
Erica did the dismissal.
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you're welcome.
You have a good day.
Okay,
Your Honor, you stand over here.
Your Honor, I also submitted the dismissal on covering that, and the offer on that case of restitution dismissal, but the restitution had already been
Aaron
paid.
left right now, so what is
So,
They give you a little map.
Okay.
It's not hard for you.
submit dismissal.
Okay.
All of that.
straight, okay.
Nothing. I say.
Jefferson County Court at law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session. The announcement docket. Next case is cause number 23CCCR 0550. Case is styled state of Texas versus Braylon McKay, Elton Joseph Simon. Braylon Simon was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. At about 9 a.m. Of course, Bailey called the name of Braylon Simon at the courthouse door. Braylon Simon did not answer. Braylon Simon has not appeared in court since the court has been in session. The time now is 12:06 p.m. on today's date of April 17th of 2024. Ms. Bailey, would you please call the name of Braylon Simon at the courthouse door? Braylon Simon's name was just called again at the courthouse door. Braylon Simon did not answer. A reasonable time is passed to give Mr. Simon an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion? That motion will be granted. Braylon Simon's bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for his arrest in cause number 23CCCR 0550. And this will conclude the calling of the court's announcement docket. Scheduled on the day, April 17, 2024. Our MTRP, or motion to revoke probation docket, will resume again at 3 p.m. with Mr. Chase Wade Ellis. Everyone, please have a blessed day.